Prof, welcome to AAU TV. AAU TV is the Continental Higher Education Network, where we serve as a platform to disseminate real content to the African higher education community. We are happy to cover this pedagogical leadership workshop here at the University of Ibadan. Is this your first pedal workshop?
Actually, this is not my first pedal workshop. This is the third one now.
Oh, good.
This time I'm coming here as a resource person.
Right.
And I teach in the Untitled University in Kenya. Kenya is in East Africa.
Right.
So we've traveled all the way to help the Nigerians acquire this knowledge of pedagogical leadership in Africa, which is organized by PASGR, which is an international organization based in Nairobi.
Okay. So what modules have you facilitated?
I have facilitated modules such as curriculum alignment, curriculum design, and learning design.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, when you were facilitating the modules, from the reaction of the participants, did you feel that they were getting along with the innovations that you are bringing on board?
I am impressed by the desire by the Nigerian participants to acquire the knowledge on new pedagogical leadership. They are very enthusiastic, and they are actually grasping the content, and they look very potential to us. They are actually going to deliver on the aims and objectives of this pedal, and we believe that they are going to sustain this program long after we'll have gone from here.
Okay, but how will you monitor their progress long after we have completed this training?
As far as monitoring is concerned, we've got an online platform called Moodle, where every participant is subscribed to, and they can contribute. We can give them feedback on what they upload. You know, we tell them to upload the assignments that we give them. We'll mark the assignments, we'll give them feedback, and then we'll give them more comments so that they refine their skills in this.
Okay. Was it by design that the facilitators are only Africans? We've not seen non-Africans in this workshop.
This is an homegrown initiative.
Okay.
We realized that there was a need to train university lecturers who don't have pedagogical backgrounds.
Okay.
They didn't do education, but they are teaching now. Now that they are teachers, we said, well and good. Now that you have decided to become a teacher, we need to train you to teach.
Good.
And that is the spirit of Bedel.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, how are you scaling up this program to cover the whole of Africa?
This program is entirely going to cover the whole of Africa. We've been in Entebbe in Uganda. We are going to be in Ghana sometimes in July.
Okay.
And after that, we plan more sessions in several other countries, because it's meant for the whole of Africa.
Are there any timelines that maybe by the end of 2025 we would have covered the whole of Africa?
Well, there may not be timelines, but we believe that if we train people, say, in Nigeria, they should be able to disseminate the knowledge to other universities that we may not have reached in Nigeria.
Okay. Now, at this particular workshop, are various people from various backgrounds, various institutions. How effectively have you networked, just in case that they may need your expertise another day?
Now, we can always interact in the online platform that I just told you.
Okay.
It's an online platform. You can reach any of the facilitators any time of the day for any questions that you might want to ask.
Okay.
And we are going to respond promptly. Yes.
So what should we expect from you in the coming days leading to the wrap-up of this workshop?
I expect that a majority of the participants, perhaps more than 90%, are going to benefit from this. They are going to get the skills, and they are going to be able to apply the skills in their classrooms in the universities, and also to train other colleagues who may not have come here. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Prof, and I wish you the best in the coming sessions.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I have come as one of the participants in this workshop.
Okay. So is this your first training workshop under the PEDA program?
Under the PEDA program?
Yes.
Yes.
This is your first?
This is the first time.
Okay. So what new things are you learning here at Ibadan?
Well, there are so many things that I've learned now.
Okay.
Despite the fact that I'm in education, but through this workshop, I've been able to learn some new things, some new methods of teaching.
Okay. Now, when you go back to OAU, how are you going to apply these new methods? Do you need approval of the Senate or the academic board to do this?
No, I don't need it. The only thing is to plug it into my teaching.
Okay.
But I alone will be too small compared with all of us in the university. Actually, I have made arrangements with the organizers of this workshop, the possibility of bringing this kind of workshop to my own university too.
Okay.
And I've been told how to go about it.
Okay. So now you want to organize this workshop and you need assistance from... Yes. So how will you convince your vice chancellor to provide the facilities and the funding in case the organizers want to support you with resource persons?
Well, I will try to explain details of what went on here, the training, how it was carried out. I will explain to him. And in order for all the staff in the university to enjoy the same thing, I will tell him that it is necessary to have the workshop done in our own campus too, as it's been done here.
Thank you very much, Prof, and we wish you the best. I'm here with two people, a student and her lecturer, and I'll let them introduce themselves as we go through a few questions. Can you introduce yourself, starting from the student?
I am Marina Wonga, a student in Masters in the Department of Special Education and then the unit of Learning Disability. She is my lecturer.
Okay, so let's hear from you, madam.
I'm Dr. Kelechi Lazarus from the Department of Special Education, Faculty of Education, University of Ibadan. I teach both the undergraduate and the graduate programs.
So let me start with the student. Why did you opt to do the program you are reading at the master's level?
Because I saw a gap and the need in the society, especially the educational setting, and then precisely the inclusive setting where you have all students of all types in the class having different challenges in learning and teaching. So I discovered that quite a number of children have challenges, and then we do not have really that resources or the knowledge enough to help them. So I decided to veer into special education, learning disability, to diversify my knowledge so that I'll be able to bring that change and then help every child, and in so doing, put a smile on every family.
Africa is very proud of you. Okay, now you have a lecturer, Dr. Lazarus, who has been teaching you. How do you enjoy her teaching?
It's been a great experience, really, knowing her. She has influenced me in a number of things. For instance, she has influenced me in my way of studies and how I study. Then from her, I've been able to learn quite a number of techniques that you can use. For instance, when you are reading and you do not understand, from her I learned that there's a moment that you know that you don't understand. I think in one of her lectures, she has said that is called a comprehension monitoring. At that moment, you realize that you do not understand this thing, that You have to go back and retrace why you do not understand, or you apply some specific strategy like rereading, reading aloud, or asking for help for someone you know that knows better than you. So, and I'm still sapping from that. She's epitome, or I would call her a phenomenon of knowledge that it's rare to get.
Okay, so Dr. Lazarus, with this brilliant testimonial from your student, why are you here at this PEDA workshop?
I must first appreciate my Vice Chancellor who has put this program together. It is an enriching program. I also want to appreciate my head of department who nominated me to participate in this week-long program. Personally, I believe that I need to relearn, to refresh some of the professional skills that I've acquired in the past. Sitting in the class this morning, we were taught about curriculum, and it was just as if I'm an undergraduate again, trying to learn about the different types of design, and it's encouraging, and I believe that if the resources are available, if we are able to put into practice some of this new knowledge that we are acquiring presently, definitely our classes will be better, the students will learn, and the society will also benefit from all this.
So how will you convince your Vice Chancellor to put in more resources? Because if your Vice Chancellor is the one who has actually initiated this, I believe he has a buy-in, but then the real work is on the ground. So how will you convince the Vice Chancellor?
At the end of this training, I believe we'll come up with a communique which will be passed on to him, and through the efforts of our HODs and deans, we will be able to inform him about the steps to take. For instance, there is need for us to upgrade power supply in the University of Ibadan. Then internet, facilities should also be there. And I think that if we follow due process from the HOD to the dean, the information will get to him, and I trust that he will do something about it.
On a more personal note, how many students are you mentoring?
There are a lot of students in the Faculty of Education, and some years ago I served as the sub-dean undergraduate program, and during that period I came in contact with lots of students that are not in my department. In fact, up to today, some of them that I meet 2015, 2014 session, though they are running postgraduate programs, they still come back to my office today, for more enlightenment, for assistance in one way or the other. So I can say that I'm mentoring a lot of students in my department and outside my department, and even at the level of the hostel management. I'm also one of the management team, one of the female hostels. So students, all my life is all about young stars, and I believe that they will make it if they are able to pay attention to all the teachings that we are giving to them.
Okay. And finally, my sweet lady, what do you want to do after you've completed your master's in terms of academic progression or career progression?
Wow. That's a whole lot. I have a big dream. Coming here, I just wanted to acquire that knowledge to help on a classroom level or maybe a school. But being here now, I think my dream has grown bigger. Like in one of the Benkassi's book that says the big picture, I think I have a bigger picture now. So I want to be able to dedicate my life in helping children, especially those who are experiencing difficulties in learning. And then one of my plans too is also to set up a consulting firm. I already have one that I'm developing. It's called Learning and Behavioral Therapy. So I tend to give it a boost and then put some of this knowledge I am already acquiring here to boost it. And then I also want to give back to the society by also setting up a program to go into 1 or 2 public schools and then adopt 1 or 2, talk to the head teachers or principal involved to give me a time where I can go and then take care of the learning disabled and then see the change they have so that they themselves can also grow and influence the society positively. So for me, I think that is even the starting point. So after that, we have so much more bigger things to come.
So help you God. Thank you very much for giving us your audience.
And I am an expert in curriculum development and instruction. I'm also a PhD holder in curriculum and instruction. I also specialize in teaching of physics education.
Okay, so during this session, we would like to know which aspects exactly did you take?
My area is the foundational areas where the focus is on transformative curriculum, and what I've been training or facilitating in is issues of curriculum transformation or transformative curriculum. This includes curriculum design, constructive alignment, and also learning design. I also do something else called hidden curriculum, and this is an area that many of the area that has been ignored for some time. That's all I'm doing.
Okay, in this training, so I would like to know what impact is it going to make for the network in PASGR and in the higher institutions in Africa?
I believe it's going to bring a real transformation, because for a long time, issues of pedagogy in higher education has been ignored. You will find that most of the lecturers who facilitate teaching in the university and higher education institutions have not been trained on pedagogy. So many times when they acquire their master's and their PhD, they go ahead and begin training others. So they don't have the pedagogical skills. And I do believe this is going to bring a transformation, because this is a time for a revolution, because the teaching and learning in the universities must change. So I believe it's going to have an impact, because there's something new that has come up. People have been struggling to teach the way they were taught in high school, and they are not able to achieve. So we are really focused in starting from the way we design our curriculum, all the way from the program, going to the course, going to the topics that they teach in the sessions. And this is going to bring a transformation, and especially at a time when there is an explosion of knowledge in the world today. Yeah.
Okay. And while training them, did you see any response from them, whether it is positive? Were they really following?
I must say that I'm really excited. This is my second time to come. I was here in the month of April. We were training the postgraduate college team, and there was a lot of change and transformation. And I believe some of them were giving us the feedback through the questionnaire. Even in this one, since we started on Monday, I've seen a real response. And especially when you see their response in the Moodle, where they are now uploading the information that they have learned. So it has made a lot of difference. And the other thing is the response in the sessions. You can see that they are really interested, because we are really doing the experiential activities. And I believe that this is going to bring a change. Yeah.
You said this is your second time of training them. So how do you follow up on the students?
There are some of them who were there in the month of April from the postgraduate college, and they are here now. And they are coming with the stories of the success stories of what they have been able to do. And we are not only training things that we don't do, because it has been a success in my own teaching in the university, and it has impacted on the learners themselves. And even at a time like this, when I have left the students, the work is still continuing because we are now using the flipped classrooms, and they're able to continue on their own. Coming back here, there are some people who are in this class who knew about me before I came because somebody had told them. And the other interesting testimony that I can give, I was going around the city of Ibadan, I met a student, and the student asked me whether I'm from Kenya, and I said, you taught my mother in the last session. So it means that the mother went and impacted on the student. Yeah.
That's wonderful. Okay, so how sustainable is this training? For how long is it going to take?
Now, within this period up to, I think, next year, it is under sponsorship. But what we are doing now, we believe that there's going to be sustainability because we have moved an inch higher and turned it into a program. Like our own university, we have taken up and to come up with a postgraduate diploma in PEDAL. And this postgraduate diploma has moved from the departmental level, gone to the faculty level. Now we are expecting it to go to the Senate. And once the Senate passes it, then it is going to be a program within our university. So people will be coming to our university, they register, and they carry out the program, and then they will be able to get a postgraduate certificate from Egerton University. So I believe that. And then we have others that want to take it at master's level and PhD level. So it will be sustained. And the other way of sustaining is some of them, when they come for this postgraduate diploma, they will pay. So they will support themselves, and I believe it will not die. It will live, yeah.
Thank you. It was nice having you, Doctor.
I'm so grateful.
All right, so we are still continuing our media coverage of the Pedagogical Leadership Training happening here live at the University of Ibadan, Nigeria, and we are privileged to have one of the facilitators, and want to pick up a few things from him, especially what's his expectation, the expectations of the participants, and why pedal at all. And so we are privileged to host Professor Jethro. Prof, you are welcome to AAU TV.
Thank you very much. I know it's a great pleasure to be here and to be in Nigeria, to be in Ibadan, and to be part of this very exciting training. PEDAL is a Pan-African, African-led training initiative to promote innovation and transformative learning and teaching methods in African universities. And this is the first Nigerian training, so it's a very pioneering event. So far there have been trainings in Kenya and in Uganda. But PEDAL is arriving here in Nigeria at Ibadan. The facilitation team is from all over Africa, and they've designed and are implementing a series of modules to improve teaching and learning practices in universities.
All right. So from Ibadan, where is the next stop?
So the next stop for PEDAL will actually be an annual convening of all the facilitators and a training of trainers to be held in Mombasa, Kenya, in the month of June. Following that, there will be another regional training like this one in Accra, in Ghana, and that will be a West African regional training. So it will also be welcoming participants from Nigeria and other countries in West Africa, but primarily it will be for people from Ghana. Yeah.
All right. So, Prof, you have been lecturing for a very long time. I can see just by your hair, I can tell how long you've been in academia. But why do you think we need pedagogical leadership at such a time like this in Africa?
Well, I should say that some of the gray hairs come from being a practitioner, because I've also worked with NGOs and development work for many years, and for the last 20 years I've been in academia. That certainly did add some gray hairs. So the reason for this, I think, is that all over the world, not only in Africa, not only in Nigeria, but even in the UK, the US, in Europe, there's a need to rethink higher education, the teaching part of it. How is it that we can prepare learners who are the future generations, the leaders of tomorrow, to be actual practicing problem-solving, innovative, critical thinking professionals, and not only to come away from their university experience with theories, with knowledge that's been packed into their brains as if they were empty. We all have experiences, we all have knowledge, we all have understandings of social issues, of medical issues, scientific issues, and what we need to be doing is learning in a way that will help us to apply what we've learned in the real world and to go out into the world employable, with practical skills, with the ability to apply. So the idea here is to introduce methods of teaching and learning that bring those elements right into the classroom. Practicals, role play, simulation, reflection, critical thinking, debate, dialogue, simulations. These are all techniques that can be used which go way beyond the traditional lecture. And even a lecture can be done in a more dynamic way if you stop for questions and answers, if you will let people buzz in groups, if you have a moment for a personal reflection, if you elicit examples from the students and don't just do all the talking as the professor. So the idea is to make learning co-constructed and create knowledge together with the learners who already have quite a lot of experience and knowledge and understanding of the issue, and have it be a dialogue and a two-way process and a practical learning experience, not just feeding somebody a lot of knowledge from the podium.
Thank you very much. Can you take us through the models that are being run here, and then the specific one that you facilitated this afternoon?
Yes, thank you. Yes. Well, there are 6 modules in PEDAL, and the one that I'm particularly involved in is the one on pedagogical leadership, which is about your own teaching practice and how to form communities of practice in your university and to bring the institutional reform forward, not just the individual teaching practice, and the support for that in terms of training, etc. We also have a module on technology-enhanced learning, which is a very innovative model about the latest ways that you can use digital technology, even with low bandwidth and connectivity, to enhance teaching and learning. We have a module on curriculum design and design and methods for learning, which brings in some of the methods that I mentioned, all the innovative teaching and learning methods, and gets people using those. We have a module on teaching with case studies and simulations, which similarly takes people into a deeper experience of actually practicing and using some of these methods. We have a module on innovative assessment, which is about changing the forms of assessment, so we're not only using exams, but using more continuous and formative forms of assessment. So those are some examples. There are others, but I think you get the idea of the types of modules that are here.
So when you put all these modules together, how well will it transform the teaching and learning processes in the classroom? In other words, I'm asking, how well do you think participants will be able to translate this knowledge into practice when they go back to their universities?
So the idea when you're a participant in PEDAL is that you don't just sit and take notes and take it all in. Throughout the training, each participant is doing practical work on their own curriculum, and they are developing pieces of curriculum that they can use when they go back. That includes, for example, a statement of their own philosophy of teaching, which is not a sophisticated thing. It's just, how do I think I am teaching? How do I think I'm facilitating learning? They're coming up with 3 key objectives that they can, really practical objectives that they can fulfill when they go back, and they're writing those down. They're also taking one of their course outlines, and they are revising it completely, using the principles they've learned in PEDAL. And finally, they're taking one particular session, say a topic or a lecture, and say, how can I redesign this using the methods that I've learned here? Each of these items, they also develop a reflective log, where every 3 months they reflect on what they've done and what has worked and what it hasn't worked. Each of these items they're uploading to the learning platform, and they are submitting those to a learning management system, where the PEDAL staff can find it and support them in their learning. So there's a lot of continued support and mentorship that happens after the training.
So in terms of measurement and evaluation, or monitoring and evaluation, how are you going to track the successes of these trainings?
So there are 2 dimensions to that. One is that there is a monitoring and evaluation program built into PEDAL from the beginning. And that includes staff on the PEDAL program, as well as external evaluators who are part of the British Council initiative, which is called SPHERE, which is Strategic Partnerships for Higher Education, Innovation and Reform. And this program has its own monitoring and evaluation framework, which is meshed with the PEDAL one. So all of this is happening. The other dimension beyond M&E is quality assurance. And that's where I come in, my team. The Institute of Development Studies at the University of Sussex in England is a partner in the PEDAL program. We're one of the 7 partners. And we're the only one of the only external non-African partners. We're not the lead partner. We are just there to provide support on quality assurance. So we come and we observe, we give feedback, we facilitate reflection, we collect data, and we feed that in. And after every training, there's reflection and improvement based on what has happened.
I know you may not have spent that much long time on the African continent in terms of the academic space, but I believe you can just give an overview of what it would take Africa to improve higher education. What do you think Africans must do to improve higher education to compete globally with other universities?
Yes, it's a very good question. I think I should say that the higher education sector worldwide is facing enormous challenges, not only in Africa. Challenges of funding, challenges of government commitment to higher education, challenges of a new world where we see a lot more private sector involvement, and challenges of the digital world, which is changing the way people get their information and their knowledge. So higher education generally is challenged. And I think in particular in the African case, some of the challenges we've heard have a lot to do with resources. I think universities are really struggling with the limited resources, with cutbacks. You can see it in the infrastructure. You can see it in the connectivity. You can see it in the services that are available to people, the time that's available for things like training. So I think it's really important that we think about how can we mobilize investment in higher education, because higher education is the future of our countries in Africa and everywhere. And if we don't invest in new cohorts of professionals who are coming into the world with practical knowledge and skills, who are able to go straight into the workplace with problem-solving abilities, not just with theoretical knowledge, we won't get anywhere. And I think these are the challenges, and PEDAL, I think, can play a really important role, as well as the other partners within the Sphere initiative. There are 8 other partners who are doing this similar kinds of work in higher education in Africa. And I think this is the vision of the program, is to create a modern, applied, relevant, socially, politically, economically relevant higher education, scientifically relevant, that will be applied directly to the problems that the continent faces. So I think it's a really important initiative and a very exciting one.
Thank you very much for talking to us.
If I could add one more note,
yes.
Just to say that I have noticed that the energy and commitment not only of the Ibadan staff and faculty who are behind this initiative, but also the learners themselves, the faculty who are here, who are training. We are seeing levels of engagement and participation and hard work that we haven't seen. It's very exciting to see this, and it gives us great hope that what happens here in Ibadan today, we will be seeing in Jos, in Lagos, in Iloran, and many other universities throughout the country, and we wish you success and all good things.
Thank you very much. So then, is there anyone you want to acknowledge, especially the partners of this training as well?
Thank you. Well, I do think it's important to acknowledge that although this is an African-led and African-delivered initiative, it's the only partner within the Sphere program that is entirely African-led, and they're using innovations that have been developed by Africans in African universities, and it draws on that expertise. The funding behind it is also very important. This is being supported by the British government, by the Department for International Development, through the British Council, and through the strategic partnerships that I mentioned. And this kind of support is new. That we're now seeing a real commitment to higher education in the aid system, and I really hope that this will continue because up until now most support has been concentrated in secondary and primary education, where it was also very needed. But now all of those learners are coming into the university level, and we need to support them in their learning here too. So we hope that this kind of support will continue.
Thank you so much. All right. Good day, Africa, and welcome to AAU TV. And AAU TV is hosted by the Association of African Universities. And today we are coming to you live from the University of Ibadan, where we are having a live coverage of the Pedagogical Leadership Training in Africa, which is hosted by PASGR. And PASGR is Partnership for African Social and Governance Research. And we have one of our facilitators, Professor Sikoyo, and she is going to tell us what has happened in the past 8 days, what the participants have been learning, what they have been teaching, and what their learning outcomes are. Prof, you're welcome to AAU TV.
Thank you very much.
How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, and yourself?
I'm trying to be fine. Great. So I believe you've had a wonderful stay in Ibadan.
Yeah, I have. We have enjoyed our stay here. Very lovely people, very supportive, very happy Nigerians. So we are really happy to be here in Ibadan.
Great. And so we've spent almost 7 days throughout this training. What do you think the participants have been taking home?
The participants are really, really engaged. We've not had a meeting like this where the participants are engaged. They've been learning to transform their teaching practices at the universities. We've taken them through different modules. Personally, I've been working on curriculum design and supporting them to transform their curricula, to support them to be able to structure their curriculum, their courses, and their learning sessions in a more transformative way, because PEDAL is about transformative learning. So we are supporting the colleagues from the different universities in Nigeria to be able to transform their teaching practices to support learning. Because for the past we have been emphasizing teaching, but now we are saying we want a paradigm shift to put the learner in the center, and so to support how can they structure their curricula, how can they structure their teaching to enhance learning, to make learning more innovative, to enhance what we are calling exceptional learning moments. And so we are happy about that.
So Prof, these academics have been teaching for 20 years, 15 years, some even 30 years. Why do you think in such a moment like this, we need pedagogical leadership? Have we identified any problems with their teaching? Have we identified any problems with the teaching learning processes over the years? And we think PEDAL will be able to solve such a problem.
One of the things, one of the challenges we've had is that our graduates from many of the universities, when they get out, there's been this public outcry that the way we have been preparing them does not seem to support, for example, the 21st century skills, that generic learning skills that are expected in the workplace. So to be able to do that, we need to tailor our teaching in such a way that we can promote these generic skills, the so-called soft skills, working in teams, working innovatively, creativity, and this can only happen through the processes that they have gone through. How have they been learning? So that learning in the university should in a way mimic how these professionals will function in their workplaces. So if we can begin to shape our teaching and learning in ways that allow the participants to have a feel and experience of what it would be like working in a hospital, as a medical doctor, as a surgeon, working as a journalist. So they should have these very processes, like what we are going through here. We need to have these inculcated and practiced in the universities, so that when they get to the workplace, then it is not like a new thing. They would have already experienced the processes and the things that are required in the workplace. So this is what we have been emphasizing in this making the learning more involving, more participatory, so that it is not the professor who is pouring knowledge.
It's a two-way affair.
It is a two-way affair. Yeah,
that's very interesting. But then as a facilitator, I believe you've also learned one or two things from the participants. Definitely. What have you learned from them, and what will inform a change in your curriculum as well?
What I have learned is the fact that learning, teaching, is a lifelong learning. You also learn. We have learned things about how teaching and learning happens in different contexts. We have interacted and networked with colleagues in universities here, and we are beginning to build networks that are going to support to change Africa. And we are very excited about that.
Right.
Yeah.
One of your, I don't know whether I should say your teaching methods, is it a rhyme, or there is an action song or something you use to engage them? In the official opening, I saw Beatrice introducing you to it. If you can just give us a shot of it, participants will be very happy. Yes.
You mean the Pasha?
Yes.
The Pasha, it's just one of the energizers that we use in PEDAL trainings to build this team spirit, and we call it Pasharing. It derives from Kenya, and we normally clap in a particular way.
Yes, viewers, we have been speaking to Professor Sikoyo. Prof, which university are you from?
I come from Makerere University in Uganda.
Yes,
yeah.
And so we've been speaking to Prof, and she is one of the facilitators for the pedal training here in Abidjan. Did I say Abidjan? In Ibadan. And then Prof has been handling the curriculum reforms, and she is a wonderful facilitator. Thank you so much for coming and appearing on AAU TV.
Thank you very much. I hope I get to see a clip of this. Thank you. Thank you.
Doctor, welcome to AAU TV.
Yeah, thank you too.
How are you experiencing the beautiful and serene environment in Nigeria?
Yeah, I could see it has been so successful. The program is ongoing. We are in the second week, and participation has been good. I could see the motivation from the participants, their involvement, and the enthusiasm at which the facilitators too are giving out their best.
Okay. So you are a facilitator. Which model are you facilitating?
Yes, I'm in the model of educational foundation, basically on theories of learning and using case study as a method of teaching.
Okay. So if you say theories of learning, which are the theories and how would these theories affect or impact the teaching and learning process of these academics who are participating in the training?
Yeah, basically there are quite a number of theories that we normally use in teaching and learning, and these theories informs learning. So the theories are there to enable lecturers to really choose a particular kind of teaching methodology, an appropriate one. So you don't just teach with any method, but the theory informs you as to what method of teaching you should adopt to meet a particular targeted group. Yes.
So do you think the expectations of the participants have been met?
Really, yeah, especially by the use of theories. Because the theory, you conceive the theory and you apply them. But previously they've been using the theories, but they are not aware that this is the type of theory I'm using, this is the type of theory I'm applying for a science teaching or for humanities and others. But for now, they've been able to identify the kind of theories that they've been adopting. So what they are doing now is to align those theories to the particular courses that they are teaching.
So what is your favorite theory?
Yeah, basically for me, I use the transformative theory, which involves all aspects of learning. So the participants are able to get involved, they observe, they experience, and then from there, they learn what's perceived to be abstract.
All right. Viewers, we have been engaging Dr. Amayao from the University of Ghana, and he's one of the facilitators. He has been facilitating educational foundations, and he's been able to transfer some educational theories to our participants, and we know that they are going out there to do nothing but the best. Thank you so much, Doc, for appearing on AAU TV.
All right. My name is Dr. Olutoyin Fashaye from the Department of Geography, University of Ibadan. I teach geomorphology, that is the study of landforms. And the course, this pedagogical training has really inspired me in a way that the course that I teach can be, improved upon in passing the knowledge to the student. Before, I used to teach the student more theoretically, but the pedagogical training has really exposed me into going down into the critical aspect of geomorphology and passing the knowledge to the student from the training. I've made up my mind that there are some things that I will include into it. The field work will be more important and rigorous now for the students. We will be able to, geomorphology is a study of landform. It involves knowing what is in the environment. But I do teach it on the surface like that in the class, theoretically. But now, I will take the student to the river. I study rivers. You have to go to the river, the landform,
so
measure.
They know a plateau, they know there's a plateau.
Yes.
There's a contour.
Yes.
There's a valley.
Yes.
Great.
I focus so much on the rivers. So they will have to go to the river with me. I mean the nearby river, to even have a feel of what these forms are all about. This is what pedagogical training has deposited in me, and it will go a long way with me.
Okay. So if you have the opportunity to transfer this knowledge to others, what will you be doing specifically?
To others, I mean, you mean my
Your
colleagues?
yes.
My colleagues. Actually, it was I would say I've started passing the knowledge to my colleagues in the office, because I was in the office on Saturday. After leaving this place by 4 o'clock, I met about 5 of them, and I said, we are a bit backward in our department. I tried to showcase to them the methods that we have lacking in the department, and they had requested from me something that is very germane, that I should come and do a form of step-down training for them. I said, this cannot be done by myself alone. I will have to, talk with the facilitators here and the program organizers on how we can achieve this. Because geography is not just a study of landform. There are some that deals with the climate. There are some that deals with the interaction with man, the human geographic aspect. And we have a long way to go in our department, because I would say we are at the level of dormancy in our department. But with the pedagogical training, I think we have a long way to go. And I think I will be instrumental in passing the knowledge to people.
Thank you very much, Doc, for appearing on AAU TV.
Thank you so much.
Great. All right. Wish you all the best.
Hello, welcome to AAU TV. AAU TV is covering the Pedagogical Leadership in Africa training, which is going on at the University of Ibadan in Nigeria. And I'm privileged to have one of the co-organizers and the provost of the School of Graduate Studies, who is going to talk to me briefly about how he has observed the going-ons here at the conference hall of University of Ibadan. Welcome to AAU TV, sir.
Welcome. Thank you. It's nice meeting you.
Okay. Can you please tell us your name?
I'm Jonathan Oyebamiji Babalola, the provost of the Postgraduate College, University of Ibadan.
Okay. We have been here for the past 10 days undergoing training. Have your expectations been met?
Yes, even probably I say beyond my expectation, because I took part in similar training in Uganda. But getting to some of the classes here, I saw that they taught some things that were much more than the things we learned in Uganda, which actually shows that there have been improvement over the last training. So my expectation has been met. The participants have been very, very active. I've been particularly surprised about many consultants from the College of Medicine who took part in the program throughout, and they are still in the hall now. So my expectation has been met.
Okay, so moving forward, you have hosted and you have had your faculty undergoing training. So what are the next steps for University of Ibadan?
Well, just like you had during the closing ceremony, people have gone through it once. By the time they go through it another time, definitely there's going to be improvement. So what is going to happen now is that these people have gone through the training, will probably pass it down to some of their colleagues at the faculty level. And subsequently, though we've been doing it before, but I'm sure the approach is going to be different now, that the Center of Excellence in Teaching and Learning will have to pass people through the same training each time they are employed. And just like you heard earlier, there was a time we were thinking, okay, nobody is going to be confirmed as an academic staff without passing through the training.
So how will you monitor the progress of the staff who have been trained here?
Well, we have the list of people who have been trained. And of course, their names will be on the portal. They have access there. Normally, PEDAC will monitor whatsoever they are doing by whatsoever they've uploaded into their portal, so they know how to monitor them. And here in the classes, I'm sure we should be able to see changes from student performance, from the activities in classes, even at meetings. So I'm sure we should be able to do that. And of course, they come to the postgraduate school for curriculum development and things like that. So we should see improvement in such.
Okay, then finally, how will you measure the success rate
of individuals?
Yes, of the trainees.
Of the trainees, yeah, that's what I mean. So, well, normally, they've gone through the training, and just like we've said earlier, teaching is an art. Okay. Of course, the more you teach, the better you become. And if somebody has done this and has been going over the exercises, it's likely the person will become better. Well, we've been doing this before. We've been asking students to assess lecturers. So I'm sure from there we should be able to know who has improved, who has not improved.
Scaling up to the whole of Nigeria, do you have a plan whereby other universities will also benefit from this training session?
Well, there are so many plans. We have plan A, plan B, plan C, and probably D. The point is that at the level of the provost of deans of postgraduate schools, we've discussed with the honorary secretary, who is the dean of UNILAG, that probably they should bring PEDAL to the next meeting to talk to the deans generally, deans of postgraduate schools in Nigerian universities. And then, apart from that, quite a number of universities have shown interest here. I know UNIJUST is already planning. I know that UNILAG is also planning. I know you just told us that they're also planning. So I'm sure with time, UNN also said the same thing. So I'm sure with time, many universities will get to take part.
But how will you effectively link up with NUC?
NUC coordinates from above. So it will be difficult for a single school to push anything up. But I'm sure if they know what exactly has been going on here, they will probably give the necessary support.
We wish you the best, and next year by this time we'll come to talk to you again to see the impact that this training has had on University of Ibadan. Thank you very much, Prof. Thank you. How did you see the organization of this workshop?
Amazing effort on the part of the university, working together with the PEDAL leadership.
Okay. How many people participated?
250 teaching staff from the University of Ibadan and another about 10 from other universities in Nigeria and about 5 from Nairobi. Okay. Yeah, so altogether around 270.
270 people participated?
Yes.
Wow, this is phenomenal. Okay. In terms of gender distribution, do you know how many males or females were trained?
We have about 40% women and 60% men.
Okay, so that is great. Now let's look at the structure of the training. Can you walk us through the individual modules?
We have the pedagogical models and strategies that basically imparts the tools for teaching and learning. We have transformative curriculum and learning design, which stretches participants to think through the relevance and quality of the content they teach. And then we have the technology-enhanced learning, which is everything technology, integrating technology in the learning, as well as using learning management systems. We have innovative assessment that helps teaching staff to look at how they can capture knowledge, skills, and attitudes arising from various teaching and learning experiences, and not just the exam that really captures knowledge. So like from case studies, from class participation, from group projects, from teamwork, leadership skills, critical thinking skills, analytical skills, presentation, communication, and a whole range of 21st century skills. Then we have the pedagogical leadership, which empowers our teaching staff not only to influence their students, but also to influence others in their departments, in their institutions, and eventually, of course, throughout the continent.
From your observation of participants' demeanor, do you think that they really grasped what PEDAL is all about?
Before I even talk about that, there's the very foundations of education foundations, which is encapsulated in teaching and learning theories, education and society, and of course, personal teaching philosophy. Yes, we've had very inspiring stories. I have had, one of the teaching staff come to me and say, I'm born again in PEDAL. My teaching will never be the same. I've had another one in the plenary say, I had never used technology before, but now I will use Poll Everywhere, an innovative assessment mechanism, and I have already published our website. I mean, how good can it get? It doesn't get better than this.
So your objectives have been met?
Exactly, they have been met. We have managed to commence the transformation in teaching and learning through the training, a very successful training. We've had teachers redesigning their course outlines and integrating all the innovative teaching and learning strategies that we taught them, like simulations, like role play, like case studies, technology-enhanced learning. We have had model session plans, and all the teachers are excited to just go to class and implement this session plans and this redesigned courses.
One observation that AAU TV made was that you never used non-African facilitators. What's the secret behind that?
So We designed Pedal with Institute of Development Studies, University of Sussex, in the UK, the Open University UK, and we had some support in the case study method from University of Minnesota in the US. And we worked collaboratively with our participating universities. So through this process, we were able to empower our own, and we have gradually grown the pool of resource persons from Africa. Actually, our vision is to develop a critical mass of resource persons in each university so that PEDAL can be offered on a sustainable basis in each university.
Africa is culturally diverse and also linguistically divided. You are now doing PEDAL training in English. Is there any plan of going to the Lusophones, the Arabophones, and the Francophone institutions?
Yes, we have our eyes set on the whole continent. And as you may wish to know, we are partnering with the Alliance for Research Universities in Africa, ARUA. So all ARUA universities are also putting PEDAL very high on their agenda. So that's an entry point to, Arabophone and to Francophone. But beyond that, we are definitely exploring all possibilities of reaching everywhere on the continent. Of course, that comes with resources, so we shall also intensify our resource mobilization efforts to get partners who can support us to reach those countries.
Okay, so what is the immediate plan for the next session?
Our calendar is pretty full. The staff that we trained last year will be meeting in Mombasa in June to share their stories of pedagogical transformation, their experiences in class, what went well, what was particularly challenging, what sort of help they needed and how they got it, and inspiring others. They'll also be showcasing their e-portfolios. And then the story continues. In August, we hit Ghana to train another 100 teaching staff. And after that, we'll be back to Kenya. And there's already a lot of interest generated here by other universities in Nigeria. So 2020 will be quite full. And the beauty about PEDAL is that universities are willing to cost share the implementation of this training with PEDAL.
Okay. Finally, now I know you've mentioned some key stakeholders. What other stakeholders are involved in PEDAL that have not been acknowledged?
PEDAL is actually a partnership of 8 institutions that's led by PASGR, the Partnership for African Social and Governance Research in Nairobi. We work very closely with the Alliance for Research Universities in Africa, ARUA. We work with the Institute of Development Studies, University of Sussex, UK, and our 5 implementing partner universities led by University of Ibadan, University of Ghana, Egerton University, University of Dar es Salaam, and Uganda Matters universities, and they are all represented here. And of course, I wouldn't go without acknowledging and appreciating the support received from the Department for International Development of the United Kingdom through the Sphere, Strategic Partnership for Higher Education, Innovation and Reform. Sphere is a grant scheme that supports 9 partnerships all around quality assurance, curriculum, and pedagogy, and PASGR is one of those.
Thank you very much, Dr. Muganda. AAU TV will be following PEDAL closely, and we shall report on every event that you organize.
So what I meant was that the PEDAL, Pedagogical Leadership in Africa project, led by PASGR, is one of the 9 projects supported by the Strategic Partnership for Higher Education, Innovation and Reform Sphere grant scheme that is financed by the Department for International Development, DFID, of the United Kingdom. We really appreciate their support. And of course, our other stakeholders, obviously the teaching staff, university administration, without whom we will not have the resources and even the enabling environment to deliver PEDAL, and ultimately the students whom we focus on so that their teachers can help them build the competencies that are required, not only in the labor market, but also to create opportunities for others while functioning as fully participating members of their societies in, governance, in politics, and in societal transformation.
Is there any plan to engage policymakers like the governments or ministries of education and also the private sector?
Actually, we're already engaging policy actors at the highest level. During the launch of PEDAL in August last year, we had government officials from the Ministry of Education in Kenya and in Nigeria and in Uganda. We also had the National Higher Education Regulatory Agencies from Nigeria, from Kenya, and from Uganda. And we are having a very good conversation about how PEDAL can help them think through professionalizing teaching at the university level.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mugana, for granting AAU TV this interview.
Thank you. I hope we'll get talking again because the whole of Africa needs to hear this message and to get involved.
Thank you.